Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Shrine of Anubis. If you're new here, welcome. If you have been here before, welcome back, and nice to see you again. To follow up with last week's video of boundaries and why I abandoned this channel, I know I did talk a lot about stuff. And I'm sure you were probably confused. You probably didn't understand a thing of what I said, and that is understandable. I do talk very fast and say a lot of things in a short amount of time. So I don't blame you if you didn't really get where I was trying to get at with my previous video. Uh, in a nutshell, I was attempting to explain why I abandoned this channel for about 3 months or so due to certain things happening in my life with people, my career, my mental health, my emotional health, things like that. And in a nutshell, it had to do with setting boundaries and prioritizing certain things over others and cutting off contact with other people due to them not respecting my boundaries. So I kind of had a feeling, but at the same time, I didn't think it would happen. But I kind of felt that this would turn into some type of mini series on the topic, especially because I am new to learning about boundaries. I am new to standing up for myself, standing in my power or stepping into my power and reclaiming what is mine, demanding what is mine, respecting myself, and defending myself from attacks or toxicity from people that I love and people that are close to me, such as friends and family members. So I wanted to share with you today uh, a little bit more on how I knew, basically. I think that's the best way that I can put it for now. How I knew that I needed to have boundaries. And it all started with analyzing the friendships and the people around me. It started with me being observant because there comes a time in your life where you have friends or family members, but you are mostly angry, bitter, pissed off, upset, frustrated, negative, depressed, sad, or something, and it's because of them hanging around with you. And believe it or not, I did not notice. I thought that I was the bitch, that I was the one to blame, that I was the one always in a bad mood, that I was a man hater for not liking this particular person in my life that was in it for almost 5 years. Uh, so something never really sat too well with me with this person already in the first year or two of knowing them. And this was something that I would tell my family about, but they wouldn't believe me. They thought that because I had been hurt in the past by a narcissist, that I was a man hater, quote unquote, and that I was unleashing the rage and the anger and the pain and the hurt that I had accumulated with this narcissist on an innocent person. And this is where I started to question myself due to gaslighting. Gaslighting is when other people make you question your reality and what is happening to you, even though you have seen the signs and know what is going on. And this was something very common for me with a narcissist in my family. It's a pre-programmed pattern that I still haven't deprogrammed from, that I am now learning to, however. And this friendship that I had, that was someone that wanted to be with me and I rejected them 6 times, I still decided to remain in there because otherwise I was a man hater for wanting to back away from someone that made me feel uncomfortable because they would not take a no for a response or an answer. They kept being pushy and persistent with me. This was something I never liked, and whenever I would voice it to those close to me, they would call me a man hater. There was one person in particular within my family that believed me, but I was told, oh, don't believe her. She's a lesbian. She hates everyone. She hates all men. So in a sense, I was torn apart within myself because I was not sure what to do, how to proceed, if I was being overreactive, if I was being paranoid, if I wasn't giving them a chance. But at the same time, another part of me was like, I feel fucking uncomfortable. This person doesn't respect me when I say no, when I tell them that I don't want to be in a relationship with them. I don't like it when they make scenes whenever I tell them that I'm hanging out with a guy friend or that I want to interview a guy for the podcast that I used to have and things like that. This was a very possessive person that was trying to be dominant with me. And even though we didn't have anything, they wanted to be with me and they would try to ask me out 5 times within 2 to 3 years. And the 6th time was when this person wanted to travel to meet me and they were asking me about my ring size. And when I asked them why, that's when they started to shut down on me. And that's when I started to lash out at them for the 6th time. Hey, if you are going to travel to meet me here, and if that's the intention that you want to come here for, I don't want to meet you. That's when I had enough of everything. I forgot about my family. I forgot about what they told me to do, to not do, to say, to not to say. I did not give a fuck. I reached a point where I was so fed up and so tired of being harassed like this that I lashed out. And to go back to the topic of the video, as to how I knew that I needed boundaries, I always knew. It's just that I never knew exactly how to set them in place because for some reason, everything was always my fault. Oh, I'm a man hater. Oh, I'm unleashing my old rage from the narcissist with a new person. Oh, you're being paranoid. You're overthinking. And fourth, nothing's going to happen to you because they are overseas and things like that. So because of this, I already knew everything, but there were certain patterns and words and things that were said and done to me that made me think maybe I just need to relax. Or as we say these days, maybe I need to chill and just let things take their course. And I waited and I waited and I waited for things to get better. They never did. And partially it was my fault for not taking action sooner, but it was also part and fault of my family, one of them in particular, for never giving me the respect or giving me that permission slip for me to respect myself enough to stand up to someone that was clearly being possessive and toxic whenever I would stand up to them and say something about the whole situation. It doesn't help when your family likes a person that is abusing you. So that was in part why I remained there for almost 3 more years of the whole thing, if that makes sense. So how did I know that I needed to have boundaries? Because you feel uncomfortable. That's all. That's all you need to know. If somebody or something makes you feel uncomfortable, unsafe, insecure, mad, or depressed, or feeling bad about yourself, you don't need a reason to have boundaries. But if you need one, these are some of the things that I personally felt for me to know that I needed to have some sort of boundary or boundaries in place, whether it's with this person or in general. And I know again that I said a lot of things in the past 9 minutes or so, and I apologize if you don't quite catch up with me. I believe you can slow down the video if I'm talking too fast. But that's how I knew I needed to have boundaries. I never felt comfortable. I never felt safe. I never felt heard or listened to or comprehended or understood or anything. So I felt uncomfortable. And for boundaries, you don't need a reason to have them. You just need to have them in place. But there are some people that are more, I wouldn't say resilient. I don't think that's the correct English word. But some people just take the hits, so to speak, quote unquote. And I feel that I might be one of those people that it takes me a while for me to say, I don't really like this. Maybe it's time to set some boundaries in place. That's how I feel that I am. I'm not someone to immediately do something until I analyze the situation a little bit further to draw my own conclusions. Because again, I overthink because of the same reason. I'm not a fan of jumping into conclusions if I don't have the full information. I don't like to assume something out of someone if I don't know them or the situation firsthand. So that's why it took me some time to set some boundaries with this person. And of course, they didn't like it. We would meet up every single week for 4 or 5 hours. I cut off the meetings to only 2 hours per week. And then eventually every 2 weeks, they started to become hostile about this. For me, prioritizing other things in my life, such as me time, studying time, with my university and stuff. I needed to have doctor's appointments for myself or my family to attend them, to help them, routine checks and stuff. I needed to have my life. I needed to do my things. And because I wanted to focus on my life and those around me, this person became hostile. Oh, you're no longer spending as much time with me. Oh, you barely tell me what you've been up to these days. Oh, you never told me that you did this or that or blah, blah, blah. Or how did you get all this money for a new computer? Last time I checked, you had this amount of money that you were posting for people to help you with. Things like that. That's when I started to notice the toxicity becoming even stronger, more amplified. And it was simply because I was starting to set boundaries in the form of cutting off contact, reducing the hours, reducing the days of meeting each other. And it was simply because I always felt uncomfortable for the past couple of years and I never felt listened to. So I reached a point where I was fed up and I said, enough is enough. It's time for me to cut it out, cut it off, reduce, and piss off, piss the hell out of here. And that's exactly what I did. So if I were to summarize this video in one sentence, when to set boundaries, or yeah, I would say when, not how, but when, is whenever you feel like it. You don't even need a reason. You just right now can say, I will set this boundary with my mother-in-law. It's always the mother-in-law. Or with my own parents, or with this neighbor, or with this friend, or with this coworker. I'm not going to talk to them as much. I'm not going to hang out with them as much. I'm not going to say a lot of things to them that I do in my personal life. I'm not going to get drunk with them. I'm not going to visit them or let them in my home, in my own temple. It all starts with an idea, with a plan, with yourself. So, when to set boundaries? Right now. Do I need a reason? No, you don't. At all. You don't even need to wait to feel uncomfortable in order to set a boundary. But if you ever feel uncomfortable, that's a good way or a good hint for you to know that it's a good time to set a boundary, to reduce something, to eliminate something, to avoid something. And if people don't respect that, it's time to cut them off and out of your life, because those are the same people that will attempt to breach those boundaries that you set in place. Now, I do feel that this video is already quite long, so I will cut it here. But I invite you to let me know down below in the comments section. I am reading your comments. I'm not necessarily answering them. I am reading them. I'm keeping a close eye on them because I do want to answer your inquiries and give you feedback. And I also welcome your feedback as well when it comes to setting boundaries. When did you know that you needed to set boundaries? Next week, I will cover how to set boundaries. I'll think I kind of answer that, but I kind of wanted to explain the reason behind why. I wanted to set boundaries. And when I had enough of the bullshit. But if you want me to be more specific, I can address how to set boundaries next week. I can give you a couple of more examples. I know that this was a very personal experience. I'm sure you probably can't relate. So by next week, I'll probably do something more laser focused on how to set boundaries with toxic family members or Catholic family members. We can be more specific. So if you want me to be more specific, absolutely let me know down below in the comments section. And I'll be more laser focused next week on how to set boundaries with various examples. And if you don't know, you can simply say, oh, I have issues with this coworker. She's very clingy, very needy. If I don't respond to her within the day, she gets mad at me. And I speak from personal experience. That's why I'm making it as an example. I have 2 stories to share. Whatever it is that you're going through that you feel that you need boundaries with, let me know in the comments section. That way I can brainstorm for next weekend's video how to set boundaries with a couple of examples. But in the end, it's all in you. You don't need to wait for something to go down. You don't need to wait to feel uncomfortable with something to do something. You can start setting boundaries right now. Whether it's reducing time spent with a person or cutting them out of your life or simply telling them off, hey, I don't like you because you're a toxic bitch and you're always complaining about your ex and I'm so fed up about your stupid story with your ex. I'm done with your stories and negativity. If you don't want to listen to my advice, just fuck off. Maybe not that toxic or direct, but sometimes I feel it can help to be a little bit direct with people. It kind of takes them by surprise, at least in my experience it has. So I am very curious about what you have to say and share down below in the comments section. By all means, do so. I always welcome your feedback, and I will not make this video any longer than 20 minutes. So before I let you go, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click on the bell button, and click on see all so that you can get all the notifications of any future uploads that I'll be making on this channel. Take care, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.